make this product. We are not responsible for this product. Maybe I'll talk to the owners. Maybe they'll, change out our partnership here, but they do pay us a lot of money. So if you're offended by it, again, leave that review, and you will be dead within 24 hours. But really, it's not a big deal. Hello there. Welcome to the eye shop. Where all eyes can come, and they can get their nice little skincare and makeup, and just overall feel a bit more beautiful than they need to be. So how do you feel? How are you? Okay, so you're just here for some makeup, maybe some skincare. You're getting ready for a date. Oh, how wonderful. So tell me, who is the lovely lass or lady? Oh, okay. Yes, so I can totally help you with that. And of course, sorry, just to go back a little bit, when I said lass or lady, I know I'm thinking about all all of the training that we've had. And, I may have presumed your sort of sexual attraction towards a particular gender, but lass, of course, is gender neutral in this shop. So, let's just make that very clear. But regardless, how about I tell you what's going on, right? So, of course, I have a lot of training, but I don't have a lot of experience dealing with your kind. You are a floating eyeball with sort of like a skin sac that blinks. So it's not very uncommon. It's not that I don't understand you. It's just that I'm a bit uncomfortable around you. But that's something that, we're going to work on today together. I've been trying really hard to push myself to be not particularly ignorant and just be very, as one might say, aware of my social shortcomings. So, this is, of course, my first day. So you caught me at a really great time because I just finished my trainings. So since you're going to be on a date, I imagine you want to be all dolled up, right? You want to have like all of the boops and beeps that really go into an eye to make it what it is, right? You want the person that's looking into your eye, or the eye that's looking into your eye, to be entranced by either like the darkness and the abyss that is like the dark eyes, or maybe to be completely sort of like lost within the sea of beautiful sparkles, right? So really you have a lot of options and a lot of things, but how about we just get started, right? I mean, I think it's going to be pretty good. So first, I want to just check. I'm going to be touching your eye. I know that, you are an eye, so I'm going to be touching you. I know a lot of people tend to not like it when we touch eyes, but I don't really know. Is it okay if I touch your eye? If it's okay if I touch you? Okay, it's really not a big deal. Okay, yeah, I just need to tell. So I just need to be able to tell what kind of eye skin you have, right? Like, is it dry? Is it flaky? Is it oily? And really just gonna figure that out, right? Because, dry is really bad for an eye, but being too wet is also really bad because people then think that you're constantly crying. And if you're constantly crying, then how are you going to impress the other person in a date, right? Like, you might come off as like too in touch with your emotions. So let's just get started with a little bit of eye drops. We're going to do some eye drops once I touch your skin and figure out what particular eye drop, right? So let's just see here. So if I just... Okay, and then just for here, yeah, see this eyelid is just... Okay. And when you blink, what does it feel like? Okay, it feels like you're sort of moving through like a barren wasteland of crust. Okay, I understand that. Okay. And over here. Okay, yeah, I do think you would benefit from drops, so we are going to go ahead and do this. We're going to go through a few of them, okay? So this one right now is an eye drop that It's just sort of the basic eye drop that people tend to have. It's just to help moisten the area. You do have very, very dry a dry eye, and what I've heard is that having an eye drop a day will keep the drag queen away. And you only ever want to see a drag queen when they're performing, because when they're not performing, then they will chew your head out because you're interrupting them. So how about we just go in and okay, actually, if you don't mind, I'm going to hold your eye up, because like your eyelids, like I'm gonna keep your eye open basically, because a lot of people have problems with it, and it is my first time, so please excuse me if I'm not doing the best when it comes to your care, right? So just open right there and right there. Okay, and okay. Let me do one more. I feel like the crustiness of your eye has absorbed that droplet, and just it's gone now. I think you need a few more of these. So let's just open it up. Okay, how to do a countdown? Is that better? Okay, so 3, 2, 1. How's that? Okay, and then let's do that one more time. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, perfect. Okay, so then let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to use a different eye drop. This one is to help keep sort of the eye color that you have as bright as possible. And that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be light. It just means that, like, if you have dark brown eyes, then it's just going to really enhance that color, right? And if you have blue eyes, it's going to enhance that. Green eyes, hazel, you get the idea, right? So it's really going to enhance it. And it's truly one of those things where you might not notice it now, but as soon as I do it, you will really tell the difference, because you'll be able to see colors in many dimensions. And of course, the wizard that created this particular eye drop, they were high on shrooms one time and sort of discovered this little thing and distilled it into this eye drop situation. And it's technically legal, so you shouldn't have anything to worry about. But it's just because we've changed the molecule within this eye drop just a tiny little bit. So so long as you don't tell anybody and you don't tell the eye police, we should be fine. So anyway, let's go in. Okay. There we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then again. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then one more time. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. Yeah, see, your eye is glowing. That's how much it's so effective. That wizard really did us a huge favor. So I am noticing, though, because your eye is glowing, I'm noticing a bit of unkemptness when it comes to your iris. Yes, so your iris is the color that's around your pupil. The pupil is basically like a little hole that light goes into, and then the iris is the color, right? So I'm noticing a bit of unkemptness. How much do you brush your iris? You don't brush your iris at all. You didn't know you had to brush your iris? Yes, of course, this is something that, this was discovered not too long ago, actually. I think a witch discovered this when she was, she was trying to murder somebody. But when she did, she took the knife and she stabbed it in the eye, and then she realized, wait a minute, the eye looks a little better now. And so she did a few experiments, and then she realized that, oh my God, yeah, if you brush the eye, it's sort of like hair, right? You can brush away a lot of those, like the dirt and the what is the word I'm looking for? Just the impurities. Yes, impurities. That's the word I'm looking for. So we're gonna have to do that, because it does sort of seem that, yeah. So if you if you know, some people have like different colored eyes, right? Like they have like sort of brown on the inside and yellow on the outside in terms of the iris, right? But the thing that's on the outside is actually the thing that you should be brushing away. That's like the little termites that's like sort of eating in, right? And you don't really want that. So let's just get rid of that. And by termites, I do mean the equivalent of lice, but for your iris. I don't think that we've really discovered I actually don't know if people have named the bug that would be there. So, excuse my ignorance. Again, it's my first day. I'm surprised you don't know about this actually. But I do have a little brush. I'm just going to brush it out, okay? It's going to be totally fine. You're a little bit worried about it? No. Please don't worry about it. I gave you a bunch of eye drops, so you should be fine. I'm a little bit scatterbrained when it comes to trying to figure this out. You are my first client, but, trial by fire, right? And if you don't like it, then just leave us a bad review. They will hire hitmen to come and kill you, I do mean my bosses, but if you do that, but if you survive, then you could sue them back, right? But that's only if you survive, which is very rare. So let's just go ahead and, okay. So yeah, just keep your eye open for me, and I'm just going to, okay, perfect. Yeah, there you go. See, I'm just brushing around the pupil. Yeah, and see, oh my God. Yeah, it's filled with impurities and dirt, and you need to brush it out, because then the pure color, the color that you have, whether it's dark brown, black, blue, green, whatever it is, it's going to really show, right? So just brushing that out. Yeah, there you go. Okay, just a bit more here, and we should be good. Just trying to get it out, right? And how does it feeling for you? Yeah, see, I told you, it doesn't feel bad at all. So yeah, so while I'm doing this, I would like to ask you a question, right? So you are going on a date, but is monogamy really a thing that's pretty big within the eye community? Okay, yeah, no, but okay, so monogamy is sort of like the outskirt thing that you guys end up doing. Interesting. So do you feel like you're monogamous, or are you more on like the polyamorous side? Okay. That makes sense. That makes total sense, yeah. Yeah, see, it is interesting to me, because I feel like as a human, perhaps this is just my ignorance showing, but because most humans end up having two eyes and they don't have wills of their own, I would imagine that like two eyes meeting to form sort of depth perception is sort of the ideal. But I imagine maybe if you have multiple eyes, then your depth perception ends up being even greater, So perhaps that's the reason, right? Oh no, it's so three eyes is really the big, because the third eye is the biggest. I see. So that the perception ends up going into sort of like the future. Okay, see, that's something I didn't know. That's really important. Yeah, see, things that you learn every day. Okay, so now that we're done with that, let's move on to the next thing, which is I think that your eye itself is okay now. But I just want to make sure that you have a little bit of protection before we move on to the makeup portion. And this protection is going to come in the form of detoxify. Get it? Yeah. Okay, yeah, it's offensive. Okay, I'm so sorry. It's this is not the product. I did not make this product. We are not responsible for this product. Maybe I'll talk to the owners. Maybe they'll change out our partnership here, but they do pay us a lot of money. So if you're offended by it, again, leave that review, and you will be dead within 24 hours. But really, it's not a big deal. So I'm just going to open this up. I'm going to just place some of this detoxify in your eye. And what this is going to do is going to create a nice protective coating. And that's going to really really help protect it. And I know what it's like to go on a date and really like the other person. If you guys are sort of floating around, I know that like it's really easy to just sort of bump into the other person and sort of like be physically close. But eyes touching other eyes, I think it's going to be a little interesting, right? Because you might transfer some of that protective coating to the person that you like, right? So I think that this is both for you and for them. So, okay, just opening this up here. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little bit of this on. So open wide, and there you go. Yeah, see, I'm just sort of scratching a little bit off of and just like putting it on, right? Because it is very potent and we really want to make sure that we're able to get a decent amount on there. Enough for 2 people, right? For 2 eyes, at the very least, right? It is, of course, I'm assuming this is a date between 2 people. Yeah, okay. Okay, so you still sort of do dates in pairs, even though polyamory is the sort of like way to go when it comes to being an eye. Okay, that makes sense. Is it polyamory or is it being like in a throuple? I guess the terminology is a bit foreign to me. It's not that humans don't end up doing that sort of thing. It's just that I personally don't have a lot of experience with it. So it's just one of those things where, I wish we had this sort of training, it should be sort of like, human resources training, like how to treat a customer well, and, what is monogamy versus polyamory training. I think that every company should have that. Okay, there we go. That's pretty good. How does it feel? Just do a few blinks for me. Okay, good. Okay. So now that is done, we can move on to doing a bit of the makeup, right? I think that makeup for an eye is very, very important. I think it's regardless of gender, at least that's from what I understand. You can, of course, tell me if I'm incorrect, but regardless of gender, makeup is one of those things that, as a floating eyeball, you have to really take into consideration, because it's sort of like clothing, like without makeup, you end up looking a little naked. So let's just go ahead and what should we start with first? A little bit of foundation? Do you need it? Okay, yeah, I do notice the whites of your eyes are a little splotchy. They look a little bit like it's a bit patchy, right? It has a bit of yellowness, a bit of redness on specific side. We want to even that out, right? So maybe people use sort of like a sheer foundation, put that on and just sort of even out your the eye tone, get that like nice pearly white. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Okay, so let's just get a little bit of foundation on here. Okay. There you go. That's pretty good there. I think that's a good match. Are you cool toned or warm toned in terms of an eyeball? Okay, yeah, you're more cool toned. I think that makes sense, yeah. Okay, and here, let me go a bit slower. I think that will be better, application wise. Okay. Is it offensive that humans end up having 2 eyeballs without any will? Like, how do you feel about that? Because I would imagine, if there was some sort of extraterrestrial being, and that extraterrestrial being ended up having like two humans that, acted as sort of like their senses, and didn't have a will of their own, that would be a bit creepy to me. So I don't know how you feel about that. Okay, it's just something that I see. So it's just something you've had to sort of grow up with, and you had to have that kind of talk with your parents. I totally understand that, Yeah. Well, I apologize on behalf of my eyes. I just gotta say, I didn't really choose to have them, but they are there. And, they do a lot of good for me, I think. Mine don't really work that great because I have to have these, but, oh, I'm so sorry. I really shouldn't have said that. I think that that is offensive. They don't have wills of their own, so why am I blaming them for not like working, quote unquote, correctly, right? Like, what is correct? Okay. All right. So we've got that in there. You got nice, like sort of pearly white. Now I think that we should do a bit of blush, right? Yeah, I think a bit of blush will do really well. What that'll do is it'll reintroduce some of that depth within your eyeball, and it'll just it'll make you constantly look like you're on the verge of having pink eye. And from what I understand, that's a very desirable trait in the eye community. Yeah. Okay. So let's just get a bit of blush here. Okay, and then, okay. So stay open for me, and there we go. Nice. Oh, look at that. That looks great. That is wonderful. It's a really good color. Yeah, I picked a sort of more a warm blush to sort of contrast against your sort of cool toned pearl white sort of eye skin color, of course. So we're just going to do that here, and then over here. Okay. Just a little bit. Yeah. Okay. I'm just looking over here because your eyelashes are ginormous. I'm so jealous. Okay. Then just a bit more over here. Here, let me. There we go. Oh, great. Okay. And then just over here. Okay. And maybe just a bit across. Yeah. There we go. That looks wonderful. Okay. So, next let's do a bit of eyeliner. How do you feel about that? Yeah, I know, eyeliner is a bit of a controversial thing. It's sort of like if humans walked around in sort of like rave wear all the time. I don't know how you feel about that. I mean, it just depends on the culture that you're in, I suppose, right? Because you can wear rave gear anywhere, but I imagine that like when you're going on a date, what kind of eye are you trying to like look like? Are you trying to be more of sort of like a business eye, or are you trying to be more of like, the party eye? Okay, totally. So yeah, let's just go ahead and do that. I'm just going to use this sort of eyeliner pencil, and we're just going to go in and give you a nice, very simple, all around, you shouldn't really hide yourself, right? If this is the kind of eye that you are, then you need to find someone that matches you, right? And if the sooner you're not compatible, the better, right? So at this point, keep your eyes sort of like half closed, sort of like this, and I'll be able to sort of do a nice even line, okay? So just stay still, and there we go. Perfect. Yeah, see, that's wonderful. Yeah. And it's really, really enhancing your overall look. Okay. 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 And then let's just do a whole round so that it feels like it's continuous. Okay. Yep. Okay. Perfect. Wonderful. How are you feeling? Good. Do you feel like you're ready to go? Okay, wonderful. That's great. And I hopefully I tried my very best and tried to be as um, as sensitive as possible. But I am a human, so I don't really understand. And personally, I think that it's not needing to know all the information. It's just being willing to listen and learn and grow, right? So if you have any issues, again, like I said, you can talk to me about it, and your life won't be in danger. But if you do post a review, either on like sort of like the iYelp or wherever you post reviews, sort of make sure to sort of maybe like lock your doors at night or something. That's going to be pretty important, I think. Because it would be a shame if you died. So, yeah, I hope you have a really wonderful time with your date. I think I have a feeling it's gonna go well. I don't have a third eye, so I can't see into the future, but I think that it's gonna go really well. Okay. All right then. Well, have a good one.